What's going on, everybody? This is Ross there of the Misfit Effects. And of course, I'm joined with my beautiful co-host who is gracing us with her presence today and who's going to introduce our guest, Miss Sarah Lace.
So, hello everybody. I am actually heading out to Miami tomorrow, but today I am super happy to be here and I am excited to actually introduce the gorgeous MILF Pristine Edge. So, I have read a little bit about her, but I would like her to introduce herself to you guys. Y'all ready for that?
Hey, I'm Pristine Edge. I've been in the industry since 2014, filming and doing all the adult work, and I've made my way up to MILF status, and I'm happy to be here.
So I did notice that you actually started off as a dancer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What drew you to dancing?
Okay, well, I was in the car with a girlfriend of mine one day, and I'm like, I'm thinking about being a dancer. And she's like, me too. But we've been best friends since seventh grade. And we were both
Oh,
very Christian girls. So for me to come out and say that, and for her to be like, yeah, me too, was so crazy. Well, she had more balls than I did because she went out the very next day, got a job, and
oh my
she was
God.
there for 3 months before I like summoned up the courage to do it myself. But it was nice that I waited for 3 months because I kind of got to talk to her about it and get the feel for things. She's a very bold, courageous girl, and I love her so much. But she kind of helped me get my foot in the door and taught me the ways, and even went up on stage with me for my first stage set, and it was really cool.
Aw.
So that's kind of how that happened.
Are you still dancing now, or are you just doing the corn?
The corn. I do feature dancing, so I travel around to clubs that request me just for
That's
a day or two.
amazing.
You have
That's
any?
amazing. I would love to see you feature dance at one point.
You
Oh,
have any coming up?
I do. There's one November 13th through 16th in Sacramento, and then there's another
Ooh.
one December. I forget the date. It's somewhere in December, and it's here in Vegas. Both. Well, this one's at
I
Sapphire.
mean, you got time. That's three
Yeah.
months away. They'll hear this in October, and then they'll look on your page and say, "Oh my God, I got it in October. I can go gamble. I can use the money that I'm gambling with to throw at
I love
Pristine
it.
Edge on stage, and like it'll make her smile, and it'll make me smile because I'm giving her my money to make her smile, and and everybody goes home happy because." They get to dance and you get money and yeah, and they get to
Yeah,
gamble. It
it's so
all
true.
I love that because also like you can do more nudity in like Vegas compared to like in other places. So they kind of get to see you in all your glory and they also get to actually meet you because there's like unless you're going to conventions too, there's really no other place for them to meet you.
It's
So they
very
get to
true.
see
Yeah.
your personality, how beautiful and how amazing you are in person. Because you know
Oh,
that our photos and our videos don't necessarily do us justice.
it's
So
true.
I feel like that they're definitely going to be very excited to see you on stage performing, and then getting to actually talk to you a little bit. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, bouncing off of something that he just said, whenever people are throwing money on stage, and what I've noticed is whenever there's one person, it just takes one person who's throwing a lot.
Mhm.
There was one guy who was throwing hundreds up before, and him being there, it was like a domino effect. He's putting on a big show, and he's feeling big. Everybody's looking at him. He's kind of stealing the show, but I don't care. Have at it, buddy. Um, then it's a domino effect. Everybody else starts to kind of make it big too. It's like a big production. It gets pretty fun.
I love that because I do feel like not everyone, but like people, they tend to get competitive and see if they can kind of out tip each other. And that's kind of really awesome. Because
Yeah,
you, like, first of all, like, yeah, we do need to get paid from all our traveling and everything. Like, there's so many expenses, but it just feels nice to have them give us that attention
yeah.
and to have multiple people be like, girl, take all my money. You deserve it.
I like to roll around in it whenever it's coming
Oh,
down.
me too. And then I do the little with the
Yeah.
money and just like do a little roll.
Yes.
Mm.
It's so hot.
I love that.
See,
We should have coordinated our outfits because I think that we matched today.
Right?
We should have like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
see, I was like, so I rarely go to strip clubs, but I was telling someone this before. I love the art that goes into what y'all do when y'all dance because I feel that like it takes a lot of work one to even like one even go on stage because you never know if people are gonna like your dancing, and then you always worry about falling. If you're,
They don't care about your dancing, to be honest with you. They don't care.
I mean, I don't know if it's just me because I'm a weirdo like that. Because like I prefer the art over everything else, and I give money for the art. Because if you're if you're up there and you just get up there and just do like a twerk, I'm like, okay,
So
give
you like
me
to see girls flipping around the pole and gliding
yeah.
across the
I
stage?
yes,
Yeah.
I enjoy the art of it because I
Yeah.
feel that almost anybody can, just do a regular dance. But if you but you show me that like, hey, I like what I do a little bit. I'm going to go roll around this pole for a second and just do a little spin. I like that, and I would
Yeah.
give money to that.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not I'm
like
not
that. I like that you appreciate that aspect because a lot of guys don't appreciate that. I spend my time kind of on the stage because that's where the money's at, but also where all the people are. So you can kind of get a little personal with each one. But in between, I like to climb up on the pole a little bit and then come back down.
I
see.
get it. I feel like I focus a little too much on the pole and I kind of, in a sense, I forget that everyone's there and I just be like a little pole princess, and then I'm like, oh shit, let me go down there and actually like dance in front of them and stuff like that. And I feel like there does have to be a bit of a balance, like
Yeah.
be a little flashy and like do those pole tricks or not even huge pole tricks, but like just do a little bit to kind of catch their attention. Once they're actually there, you kind of like come hither a little bit. You like crawl to them and be like, hey. I've noticed
Yeah.
that that's kind of what catches my attention with people, when I'm there attending and like watching.
Yeah.
I think I need
Um,
to explain to you what I mean because I mean at actual dancing. So if you're on the floor and you do the whole leg wrap thing, that's cool. But I mean like if you're just up there and you're doing the actual standing dancing, whatever. Because some people I've seen people just get up there, hold the pole in their hand, twerk, and then look around for money. And it's like I can go to a club and see someone
Yeah.
twerk.
yeah.
That,
That's what I mean. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I also feel like the ladies who are down on the floor when you're smiling and interacting, more people, you're more approachable. People are more likely to come up to your stage and say hi, and then it's easy just to kind of be like, hey, why don't you find me afterwards? Let's go back for a VIP or something. That's when you can slide that in there. So when you're down on the floor, that's where all the money's at. That's when you're, you know,
that is very, very true. Because I feel like when I do it, I kind of like intimidate them a little bit because I'd be wearing like the big ass heels and stuff, and I do like some crazy pole tricks. And then I'm like, you know what? You didn't have to do all that. Like,
I want to see you now. I want to see this. I want to see this performance you've got going on.
okay,
Actually,
I'll send you a video from what we did for Urban X. That
Yeah,
was
I
so
want to see.
fun, but I'll be honest, I was nervous.
Oh,
see, see, I don't know. Like, I don't know just because like I've gotten too respectful in this industry that I've always been so like, I can't ask them to do this. And then even when I'm getting, I take somebody to private, I put my hands like way across so it doesn't look like I'm doing something I'm not supposed to. I'm like, I don't even want to touch, I barely want to touch them. Because I
well, you have to
feel,
enjoy your time too.
no,
You
no,
have to,
I mean,
but usually
it's,
a girl will lead your hands. Let's take your hands and put them where they're allowed to go, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, because I've been in a VIP where you're not allowed to touch them, period, which is okay. But it's like also like because I've been in this industry forever, how long, whatever. Like, and I'm always like for example, I've taken her picture, And like even if like her hair is in her front of her eye right now, if I want her to move that and she's not getting it, I'm like, can I touch your I'm like, can I touch your person? And I'm like all nervous to even do it, like, to go just a little bit. And like I think that mentality has followed me into that world also, saying, I don't want to touch you, but
A
do what
shy guy is so cute. Oh my God, stop. I love
He's
you
it.
adorable.
I
All
love
of
shy
them
men.
inside be like, yeah, daddy.
It makes me like embarrass them, but I just love the same thing. I'm gonna go a little off topic, but I want to come back to this. I did a scene with Mandingo, and he was out of
Ooh.
any man I've ever worked with, he was the most shy. And I'm telling you what, it turned me on to another level. Like that scene turned out really good. It was like for a dog fight or something, but that scene was amazing. I think it's because he was so shy. So stop it, because you're making me all excited. Being all
Because
shy.
I feel like in a sense it makes you think like, ooh, let me see what it'll take for him to break character or for him to like finally break and just be like, yeah, pound me.
Yeah.
but
Well, they want it. They just don't want to say it.
no, no,
Exactly.
no, that's what they like. Okay, this is her included because I do photography and videography. They literally be on like while I'm recording or taking pictures, spend the entire time trying to break me. And I'm like, I, and like sometimes they don't do it. And when she finally did it, like it made her day.
Did you? You?
It's
I'm like,
fucking hilarious when I do it. Like
What do you mean by break-in? What does that mean? What does
I
that
mean,
mean?
like because
have
like
him break character. Because you know,
because
like when they're focused on photography, like they want to be very professional and like not make any, like they
you
try not to make any like lewd comments or anything like that. And so he's just like hyping us up, like, oh yeah, get it, like that looks awesome and this and that. And then we do something either dirty or really funny that just has them just bust out laughing and just like,
but
or every
no,
once in a while,
uh,
just a hard on.
You
yeah,
gotta
and
have
they
some fun.
no,
I'm like, come on, we didn't know you
they
like it.
try to like for example, like it was one time I was taking pictures of somebody and this entire time I'm doing like what I do for pictures, but I wasn't laughing at what they were saying. And then all of a sudden, this performer just started using her vagina lips as like a ventriloquist dummy, like just talking with those lips, like using her. I'm like, and that broke me. That made me laugh, and I'm like, that's hilarious. And normally, like since I'm videography or photography, I know how to control myself and not get hard, whatever. And it's only happened twice in like, all the years I've doing it. And yeah, when they did that, they had a field day. Like I'm like, I'm sorry, I apologize. And it took me forever to apologize because I'm like, my bad.
They didn't care, I'm sure.
They didn't
The girls were
care,
loving
but
it.
Because
they
we've
didn't.
also known each other for about 5 years. So it's not anything like, oh, this guy's weird or whatever. It's always like, it's actually fun when we go on set and do photos and stuff together. And I'm just like, haha, let's
Oh.
see.
So Miss Edge. So what do you do for fun? What makes Edge, have fun?
Oh, I'm such a grandmother. I'm such a grandmother in like my personal life. I quilt. I made this quilt, which I've
Oh,
actually shown before.
that's nice.
I
Um,
was going to ask that because I did see it on the notes.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
quilting is like my favorite pastime. I've sold one quilt, but I typically don't sell them. I make them and I give them to family members. I started a quilt and I promised my social media following that I would post it for sale, and somebody swooped in and bought it before I even posted it. So I never did show that one off, but I've made
Mhm.
several quilts and I love it. I'm not going to take you upstairs, but I have a massive 13-foot sewing machine up there that
Oh
does like
wow.
the
Ooh,
detail.
yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering if you do the what are they called? The patchwork ones? The ones
Mhm.
that are like the squares and then you just kind of combine them, make it a big quilt.
Oh
Because I've
yes, I know
seen
several.
somewhere they kind of like over the years they'll add things that like make it more of an heirloom. I was wondering if you've done one of those yet.
Yeah, I have one on my bed. That one took the longest. It's over 1,000 pieces on that one. Yeah, it's a traditional. It's called a log cabin quilt. I'm gonna bore all of you guys. See, I told you I'm such a grandmother.
No, it's not
It's
boring.
like,
This is so interesting to me. And I just was
yeah.
sitting back, yeah.
Get me
Like,
started to talk about quilting, and I will never shut up. That's the problem.
no, here's the deal. I'm gonna
That's
tell
the
you something.
point.
This one thing I love about what we like the podcast that we do. We like to like we want to learn about you. This is about you.
Mm.
So quilting is what you love. So this is interesting to me to hear about your love for quilting. So I'm in awe right now. So I'm like,
Aw. Well, thank you. That is my, I guess, heirloom one. My uncle is trying to ask me for it. He wants that one. And I think I might give it to him because my dogs keep going, like they put their paw on my bed. They're not allowed on the bed, but they'll kind of go up on the bed. And there's a few rips on the side where it was.
Ooh, yeah.
And so he's been begging me for that one for his cabin that he has. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just give that one to him. But that's my favorite one. That's the one I put like my heart and soul into. But I've made several. I mean,
Mm.
how
yeah.
long you been quilting?
I guess I started sewing when I was 12, and then I didn't start quilting until 2000, maybe 10 is when I started. I made blankets. I didn't know how to quilt. I started making blankets first, where I would just sew pieces of fabric together, and then kind
Mhm.
of ease my way into making a quilt. The very first quilt I ever made would have been like patchwork quilt, would have been 2016.
Oh,
Okay.
And I've just
wow.
grown
Yeah.
from there.
So it takes a bit of a build up to first like get the skills and second to build that confidence to finally create what you have envisioned, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty
true.
awesome. Yeah.
But I didn't
Because
love it in the beginning. I didn't love it in the beginning. It took me a few years before I was like, it was during the pandemic that I'm like, I love this. And that's whenever I just kind of went crazy with it.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
plus you
looking
had
at
a little more time.
I'm looking at the one behind her, and I'm just seeing like all the designs and all the stuff right there, and
It's
I'm just
actually cute on the other side.
and
It's
I'm
cute on
like,
the other side.
in my brain, it's like as how much work went into that, and how much I would fail even if I tried to do that. So
Hmm.
that is a real wonderful talent.
Yeah, thank you.
Road.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
that is such a cute quilt. So I'm
you.
sorry. I'm enjoying your work. I'm sorry. I'm fanboying over your quilting right now.
Aw, thank you. I've made several. I've made one for a teacher before, and I've made some for family members, and I made one for my hairstylist, but I ended up keeping it because I loved it so much.
Oh, I get that.
You can make them make them another one day. You
Yeah,
know, it's like
yeah,
I made this for you, and it's like, and then you'll come back and get your hair done, and like it be like somewhere in their salon or place, whatever. You be like, hey,
yeah.
Especially
Maybe.
since winter is coming, you know, we're about to get
Yeah,
into the cold months. So I feel like it's the time for quilts, you know. It's the time to start
yeah,
working on them a little more. I would say
yeah.
that. Mhm.
have you tried knitting also, or is it just quilting? Like what
I
so?
can't for the life of me. I tried whenever I was way younger. I tried knitting and crocheting, and I just can't do it.
I
I get
get
bored of it
that.
really quickly. I get bored of it, and it's just not for me. I
I
also don't like
get
the
that.
feeling of yarn. Do you guys have one of those? I don't like the feeling of yarn. I think it's gross to me.
I feel
I
like it depends on the yarn itself, because like the way that I would like buy my yarn was actually go and like feel them all out. Like, you know how they have them all in the shelves, and I just go like, okay, okay, this one's like rough. Oh, this one's soft. All right, pull that one out. Okay, and then
Do
let's
you
keep
knit?
going. See, I'm one of those people that like I like to try things out, and then I kind of like forget about that hobby and then try something else out. So I was like
Yeah.
trying to start crocheting after I tried to start embroidering. So it's like nothing ever stuck with me, but I do
Oh,
know
well, I mean,
how to
that's the point,
embroider.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of
embroidery.
just finding
Tried
what
that
you
one.
like.
I haven't tried embroidering. That sounds like that's one that I'd like to get into.
see.
Embroidering's nice.
I haven't sewed since high school.
Home ec.
Or middle school. It was high school
Yeah.
or middle school, and yes, it was home ec. I took every one of those like it was home ec, then it was foods one, two, and three. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
was
failed foods class. I failed it.
See, the way
I
that
missed a lot of
I
school that month.
the way that I was is like I grew up already like I grew up cooking. Like I started cooking at a young age. Like I had to kind of help my family out. So when high school offered those to us, you know how like when you first go to like your first day of school, they kind of give you a random schedule and you're just like, oh, I don't like this class, I don't like this class. And you go and try to change it. So I they gave me home ec and I was just like, bitch, y'all not gonna raise me to be a housewife. Like
We
I
got to
have
pick.
all these AP classes and then bam, you putting me in home ec. Like give me something that actually like something that I actually want, you know.
Did you
They
get
could
switched into something different that you wanted?
they ended up putting me in a criminal justice class.
Okay.
So
Totally different.
it was a college class still, you know. It was one of those APDC classes because I was like, come on, give me something that like where I actually need to use my brain because I've been cooking and cleaning since I could fucking walk, you know, like before
Yeah.
We
before
got,
I could even like reach the stove, I learned how to cook.
we got to pick
Wow.
our classes. Like we got like the semester before, we got to
Mhm.
pick where we wanted to go to.
Dang, my school didn't have that. They just kind of throw you in a
Yeah,
class
and
and
I
we're like, all
chose
right,
I
go.
chose foods class
Damn.
because I like to cook,
You a
and
foodie?
I am the thing is this, like I love to cook, but I don't like to cook for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, when people are here, they much rather order food, and sometimes it's my fault too because I'm too lazy to do it. But and sometimes the food don't match what we all enjoy. But
Mm-hmm.
I love to cook anything outside of pasta because I hate noodles. Um, don't judge
Mm-hmm.
me. I hate noodles. Noodles are very disgusting to me.
All
Yeah,
of them?
one day I got he hates all of them, but one
Oh
day
my
I got
gosh.
drunk at his place. Mind you, it wasn't like crazy drunk, but just like a few drinks, you know. And I was like, damn, let me do some meal prep because we gonna have a busy weekend. And so I knew he didn't like pasta, but I was in the mood for pasta. So I went and made like a huge ass batch of like pasta, spaghetti sauce, and stuff like that. And then I went on the side and was like, all right, let's make some Mexican rice and some like picadillo de papa. It's basically like ground beef with like diced potatoes and stuff like that. So it's a really good meal. But I was just like, well, let me make two dishes while I'm at it because I know he's not even gonna touch the pasta.
Oh, that was thoughtful of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, question, you like it says you craft here. So you like do you make objects or is it just the knitting or the
'Quilting.
'cause it said you craft. I don't know what that means. It could mean you
Oh,
make, yeah, craft. What do you craft?
I'm not, I mean, quilting is it at this point.
Okay, no,
That's
I'm
the only
just
thing, like you tried out different things and you decided that knitting wasn't for you. And that's kind of how I was. And you don't have to, you can either go back to the hobby whenever you want. There's no rules. You can do it if you like it, go back and do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to touch it again. And
Exactly.
quilting's
oh
the only one I care
it
for.
just no it just says in the notes that you it's
Yeah.
like you love crafting, you love hiking and fishing and
Kayak.
kayaking,
Yeah.
and
You can take the
uh
girl out of Missouri, but you can't take the Missouri out of the girl.
mid
I
I would
get
just say
that.
It
this
is.
Midwest represent. I'm from
Yeah.
the Midwest also. I don't live there
Oh,
anymore,
yeah.
but I'm from Indiana originally.
Okay.
So
Okay. Same geographics,
yeah,
basically.
no,
Yeah.
it's still the Midwest. It's still Midwest.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think yeah, still Midwest.
I'm from the South, like deep South, like Texas.
She's a Texan.
Yeah, I'm a
Oh my
Texas
So,
goodness.
girl.
Oh,
Mhm.
you don't have
so,
too much of that Texas twang going on.
No, not anymore.
Oh, it worked out of you.
I used
so,
to, yeah.
question. So, what do you have coming up in general that we should look forward to?
The feature dances are the main thing. I think that there's a few other scenes that should be coming out. Gosh, there's so many. Like I never know when they drop and when they don't. I don't know. So there's a couple that should be dropping, and the feature dances I think are what I'm looking forward to the most. There's
Okay.
also Exotica, which I'm on the fence about if I'm going to go or not. I need to make that decision probably by the end of this week. I might go to New
The
Jersey.
Jersey one?
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, I
I
might
might go to
be
that
there.
one. Yeah, I'm actually trying to buy a property out in Missouri right now, so that's why I know by Sunday if that will be done or not. If I need to go out there for that, or if I can go to New Jersey.
That makes
Okay.
sense. You got priorities you gotta take
Yeah,
care of.
exactly.
Do you know I have not been to an Exotica since it was in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how long it's been. It's been since like 2020.
I forgot why we don't do it in LA anymore,
It's
but
just no
I'm going to
money.
pass.
There's no money out here for it.
Well,
Well, because
they have
they
Urban
have
X
like
and they have XFiz, so maybe that's why.
Well, no, no, no. Well, Urban X is the like it's just like the regular award show, and I'm sorry, they just started doing that little extra things here and there. And
Mhm.
X3 just started in 2021, doing the little
Mm,
things. But
two
like,
2 years ago. Yeah.
yeah, but like before that, we had all of them out here. You had
Mhm.
Exotica, you had Adult and it was another one that they did out here. That
There's DomCon.
No, I mean of the big conventions. I know for a fact that I've been to the Exoticas out here and the Cons out here. And I know when I transitioned to Florida for those 2 years, that's when they stopped doing it as much out here. And that was like in 2016.
Hmm.
Oh.
I'm trying to
So
think
do you
because
do like interviews while you're there? Or what is your
oh, I mean no, I to break down what I actually do, I do a lot of stuff for the Urban X Awards. I help them with a lot of like the check-in. I am a sponsor for XRCO. I'm one of the sponsors, like give them money just cause. And I do photography, videography, graphics, and for people, whatever. People have used my home to have sex in. Um, Not just you, but a lot of people. Like I haven't had sex in this new house, but 4 people have already. That's not including me. That's her partner, and
you
then
christened the home?
Yeah, I christened it.
someone tried to scene in my pool house already. So
Mm,
my pool house has been christened. One of my spare rooms has been christened, and I'm not even fully unpacked yet because I moved in here the 5th of September.
Oh my goodness.
mind you, the moment we literally finished unpacking, well, kind of
Yeah, they
finished
finished.
moving the boxes,
They had sex.
I was yeah, I was already there doing a striptease video, being like, oh yeah, who wants my sweaty panties and my sturdy socks and blah blah blah. Like
Oh.
day one, I was like, yeah, that's right, Rockstar. I'm gonna make this not just a whorehouse, a whore home.
And that's what they did. Well, that's what they did to my old house too. They're like, "Oh, Raw lives alone. Let's hop in each one of his rooms and just go around
Yeah.
like crazy." And
Oh my goodness.
God forbid, I have a pool now. I haven't got my privacy fence up yet, but I already know someone's going to misuse my pool. So
And we're gonna use this GoPro to do it.
Oh, you have it all planned out. That's great.
He already knows. Like he was literally looking at the place like while I was hanging out with him. And I was like, oh, this spot is perfect for this. And he was like, let me add a privacy fence first. Like, let me add a little extra privacy before we go and do anything. And I was like, what about some naked sunbathing? He's like, if you want the neighbors to all see you in all your glory. And I was like, well, they
they
may
already
have
already
already. They just
have.
don't know that they did it.
So I have a question. So I see on here, I didn't get a chance to look this up. What all mainstream roles have you had? Because I see it says you did some HBO late night movies and showcases and mainstream things. So
Yeah.
what should we be looking for from your work? I don't
Oh my
know.
goodness. Yeah,
I did,
there's 4 HBO movies out there. I don't think that HBO does the late night movies anymore. Let's see. I don't remember the names of them. There was Vixens from Venus and High Heel Homicide, and there was Oh gosh, I don't even remember. Sleeping Beauties, and then there was one other one. And those were really fun. I actually did Vixens from Venus. That was a 21-hour day on set, and anything that could go wrong that day went wrong. So
Oh my God.
people were walking off set because it was a long day, and it was supposed to be softcore, and I did not know that it was supposed to be softcore. So I'm like neck deep in another girl. So nobody stopped me. Nobody said, "Hey, this is supposed to be softcore." But it did upset. There was three of us girls, and it did upset one of the girls, and she got really upset and stormed off. I don't know why she didn't say something during it or when we had a break
Yeah.
or something. Like when we cut, nobody said anything until it was all said and done, and I heard her going off in the bathroom. Like, ah. Well, anyway, we fixed that. We got a new girl in. And then the day became so long that the other girl left. So the scene that we filmed, they had to just like do some patchwork to get it together. But
Mhm.
I was just thankful to be there. I did not care that it was 21 hours on set. I had all of my lines memorized before I even showed up, and I had
Yeah.
one of the bigger roles. I was just so excited to be there that they had me back for three more the next year.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
and I was just a
Amazing.
fill-in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty
It
amazing.
just shows your professionalism. Like if they, well, one, if you stay there the entire time and you don't complain if things go wrong. I mean, I mean, like, you hope things don't go wrong, but how you handle each situation is going to be dictate, um, how people perceive like who you are as a person. So yeah, everybody check out those movies, and
yeah.
you can see Miss Edge, doing her best,
Yeah, I think
and
Vixens from Venus was my favorite shoot I've ever had in my entire life. And that was
Ooh,
the day that was everything was going crazy. You know, whenever there's so much chaos that you just find the humor in it. That was one of
yeah.
those days where it was so chaotic that I'm like, really, this is happening, and whatever. I just went
The
with the
way that
flow.
I think about it is like, at least I'm still getting paid like per hour. Like I'm chill. Like, the longer it takes, the more you're getting paid. So just like
Oh, mine
how's
wasn't per
that?
hour. Mine was one set, and it was for a soft core. So I wasn't paid very much at all. I was brand new,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Well, because
The
see,
next year I
like
was paid more.
from what I've heard is like they'll do the like day rate, for example, we'll say that the day rate's 1,000, and then once you go past, I think 8 hours, they'll pay you time and a half. But I think that may only be in some cases, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this was whenever I was newer, and it was
I just
Mm-hmm.
not.
I just looked
Yeah,
it up. I think I've went across this one probably once or
Because I feel
twice
like I've heard of
on
that.
HBO. Like, just flipping the stations late at night. I think I've
Mm-hmm.
seen this one before. 'Cause I think this is one of the ones they would show like after you like Emmanuel or something like that.
you seen it? You said you seen
I
this one?
think I think because like I just looked on it and it has you, Kate Morgan, and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And I know it was a time that on HBO, everything you saw at late night had her on it.
Yeah.
And like, of course, you were going to see it. And I think I've come across this at one point playing on HBO.
Hmm.
mm.
Okay.
Oh well,
I can't
it was
dictate
a cute
when.
one.
I can't dictate because
Mm-hmm.
I watched what do they call it, Skinemax. Sometimes because sometimes the storyline is really really hilarious out of
Mm-hmm.
nowhere, and you sit back and you just enjoy it, and you don't think about the sex scenes. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like, yeah, it's just always interesting. I'm looking at a screenshot. Is of people like I think, oh, it's like a screenshot of everybody like in like a doctor's outfit, and I think I've seen that,
That's it.
huh?
That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah, and I'm like, I think I've seen this before at some point.
Look at that.
See, that's right.
That's a cute
See, he's
one.
already seen it before he even knew it was you.
The HBOs are my favorite ones. They were just, it was so, I like dialogue. I love a lot of dialogue, especially whenever it's a scripted dialogue and I have time to study it beforehand,
Hmm.
because I can do some things with that.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I've said this before in the podcast. The premise of this is probably the reason I watched it, Be because it's a mind exchange experiment, which I kind of, I love body swapping stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
in general, and so that premise is probably why I watched it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Cool.
it came out like almost. It came out a while ago. I'm not gonna say how long because I'm not gonna age anybody here, but it came out a while ago, and that premise like is really something that I would sit back and watch just because
Wait, let's say when it came out. I'm not offended. What is it? 2016? 2000?
yes,
Is it
2016,
16? Yeah.
16.
Okay.
I'm just I try to make
I'm not
sure.
offended.
I
No,
didn't
no,
want to say yeah, this came out in 2016, and then all of a sudden you find me and was like, look, Raw.
no.
Next time I'm in your presence, don't do that. Like no, 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 no. And
I'm
I'll
not
be
shy
like,
about my age.
and then I'll be like, I'm sorry. And then all of a sudden I got two black eyes, and be
Oh,
like, and then I'm laid out with two black eyes, and it's a quilt, like yeah, quilt land on me, and I'm just laid out on the ground. What happened to him? Hey,
nobody knows.
he went to
He'll
sleep.
never say my age again.
He pissed off the wrong person. And then we ganged up on him.
He went to sleep and he couldn't get up.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm not shy about my age. That's fine.
No, I just always try to be respectful.
You're
The thing
sweet.
is, I'm older than everybody here, so we all good. You know, I'm over 40, so we good. We good, and everybody else is younger, so we
You have
good.
tremendous skin, though. You have great skin.
Oh, thank you, thank
I
you.
guess I wouldn't have guessed.
I feel this is getting all messed up now because the age is starting to droop on me. So,
What? Is it time for some Botox, Ruster, or what?
oh no, I have my skin tightener in the spare room. It took me forever to find it because someone put stuff in random places and I had to find everything. So
Wasn't
I've
me.
yeah, so I had to find my skin tightening stuff, and it's in the spare bathroom. So I have to be
Makes
bathroom.
sense.
So, okay, I'm trying to make sure I hit all my notes because I want to make sure that I hit everything. So,
Mhm. I did want to talk about the hiking. Like, what kind of hiking do you like to do? Like, do you like more of like hills or do you like flatlands?
I'm
Um,
not like a strenuous hiker by any means. Whenever I go
okay.
hiking, it's just because I want to see the environment. I want to be a part of it. And I typically don't go on long hikes either. Like we have red rocks out here in Nevada.
Mhm.
Um, have you guys been to those?
I actually have, yeah. I've been there
Oh,
one
yeah.
time.
Well, here I like to go and just kind of check it out. And then eventually I'll get bored and then just go back. In Missouri, there's some trails too. There's some really nice trails out there in the woods
Mhm.
and just kind of like going for nice walks is my
Nice.
extent of hiking.
Yeah,
see,
I went one time to go see the sunset. It
Oh,
was so beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. It was a little like not to be weird, but it was a little scary at night. There's no lights or anything. And I was like, because if I don't know the area, I'm like, where am I going? Am I going the right way? Like, I
yeah.
hope there's no like crazy turns. But overall, it was amazing. It was very beautiful.
It can be pretty dark out there at night. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it got super dark that night because I think it was like a crescent moon or something. So there wasn't a lot of like moonlight anyways. So
Right. Yeah.
like, oh,
I know near where I used to live at, there was a hiking trail that had a waterfall, a real outside waterfall. I
mm-hmm,
didn't do it, because like no, that's never going to happen. But I know a lot of people enjoy. I can't hike. It's not
mm-hmm,
no, like even before I got injured, that wasn't going to happen because like I fear falling, like trying to go up like
Or like
mountains.
cliffs and such. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like I commend y'all. That's a lot of work.
I don't
That's
do
hard.
anything crazy like that. I don't like too much hill.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like something a little more of a casual route,
Right.
so
like not
you only
not
do
too
casual Miss
much
H?
inclined.
I agree. Like, I'm not in it for the athleticism of it. I'm just, going for a nice walk and checking things out.
Exactly.
So do you camp also when you go hiking or do you just hike?
Do I camp also? Me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's been a while since I've gone camping, but I used to camp a lot. Like even in my own little backyard, I would camp.
Mhm.
And we spent summers like 3 months away camping, and I had an RV there for a while. But I have not gone camping since maybe 2019, actually. It's been a while.
I think I
Yeah.
just unlock a core memory. I think she's gonna go camping now.
Mhm. I think so too.
Maybe next summer I'll have
You can
to.
see it in her eyes, like, I need to go camping again. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
need to get back to nature.
Triggered into it, yes. I just bought a house out in Missouri just for the same reason that I miss nature. Out here in Nevada, there's nature, of course, but it's all desert and rocks and dry, and it's just not the same as water and trees and woods and such.
I
See,
totally understand that.
I like flatland, whatever, and the mountains and stuff, but for me, it's like I like to be at least close to things. And there
Hmm.
was a point where I lived somewhere that it took like a good 8 minutes to get down to see a lot of more humans outside of your neighbors.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just because I think because I like the internet and the internet didn't always work. And then you had to use Wi-Fi calling. I'm like, what if the Wi-Fi go out and I can't call anybody? I'm just laying here in my car and I can't. So yeah, that's how my messed up brain works.
So you're not into camping then.
Not like I've gone camping, but it was more so like
Glam.
controlled camping. It was like we had these camping house, like it was a they call I don't know what they call them, like the camping houses.
Like a cabin or
Cabins, there we go.
yeah,
Jesus Christ,
okay.
old. We had cabins, so we weren't outside in a tent, so we weren't sleeping outside. And the only time I've ever been told to sleep in a tent was when I was in Africa, and they tried to throw us in a tent, and no, I couldn't do the tent they tried to put us in. It was like a teepee type tent, and I'm like, oh my God, it was no indoor plumbing. It was a literal bucket outside. I'm like,
The last time that I did a tent camping, I was with my then boyfriend, and we set up a tent, and we decided we'd go down to the shower house, we cleaned up before we went to sleep and such. And it was just us. There was nobody else in the bathroom, so him and I snuck in, and we weren't getting frisky. We were literally just taking a shower, and we were like in the
Yeah.
same stall. And then girls came in. And at first I was like, well, maybe they're just going to the bathroom and leave. So we just kind of stood in the shower. But they just stayed and stayed and stayed. And I'm like, I have a guy in the girls' bathroom right now while girls are showering. And so we just kind of stood there. And then eventually I'm like, we have to get out of here. So like, I open up the door and I'm like, sorry, girls, I don't want to like upset anybody. But before you guys came in here, I had a guy in here and we just want to sneak out if that's okay. I was like, oh, yeah, yeah. They were cool about it. But oh, my heart was racing whenever we left. And he was like laughing. But that's the
Mhm.
last memory that I have of tent camping.
Oh my God, that's pretty awesome though. Because
Yeah.
mind you, of course, everyone's just gonna automatically assume that y'all were doing a little frisky something. But like, I don't know. I just like showering with a partner, like
they
it's intimacy. There's intimacy in that. And like, I don't know, there's some days where I just can't stop talking. So we're just in the shower and I just continue the conversation, like whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think
Well, for me, it was nighttime and I was scared to be alone. So I made him come with me.
That
So that
they
was what
makes sense
happened.
too.
honestly
Like, what
like
if there's a snake or whatever, like spiders and stuff? Like,
It could be anything. You're right.
mm-hmm.
or they could have just been there trying to listen to you. They stayed there for a long time. It was like, oh, they might have didn't hear us come in. They were just waiting for the show.
I think that we heard some things from them that we probably shouldn't have heard, though. So it was, I felt
Ooh.
kind of bad, but I'm like, we have to get out of here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So, yeah.
now I'm intrigued of what she hears.
Well,
I
we're,
No,
want
well,
I was still
I
on.
think it's, well, it's not, it's like bodily functions and stuff that we were
oh,
hearing. So it was kind of like, whoops, we probably should have,
oh, yeah,
you
okay.
know, it was just the longer we stayed, the deeper we were digging ourselves into the hole. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, eventually I had to just like, we need to escape. So,
You're like, it's time to go. It's time to go before it
yeah,
gets any crazier.
yeah.
We can see that.
I do want to say that because we talked about it right before we got on, and you said you wanted to talk about it on here about the entire, Jane Doe, Pristine. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Go ahead,
yeah.
But the name change.
The name change. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I've known you since before you were Pristine." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, Jane Doe," and I'm like, "Pristine was before that." So no, what happened is, I was working with an agency and I wanted to shoot for a company that was just up the hill from the model house.
Mhm.
And one of the members from the agency said, they said that they're never going to put the name Pristine Edge on a box cover. I've seen some crazier names, and I don't think Pristine Edge is too crazy. You don't forget it,
God.
that's for sure. But I was like, well, I don't care what name they put on the box cover. Like they can call me Jane Doe for all I care. So I was just being a little bit of a smart ass, and then I went on a little hiatus. And whenever I came back, I thought, why not just be Jane Doe? Maybe that company would book me. This company never did book me, even under Jane Doe. It doesn't care what the name is. So, anyway, I was now Jane Doe, and not everybody was respecting the name change. They would still put Pristine Edge on box covers or on titles. And I'm like, "Ugh, forget it. I'll just be Pristine Edge." I didn't really
Mhm.
care about the name change. I was just kind of being a smart ass because sometimes I have an attitude like that. And so the attitude came out in there. And it was a price that I paid, though, because three of the HBO films are under Jane Doe, whereas The Vixens from Venus is under Pristine Edge. So it would have been nice to have those four under the same name.
Uh,
So,
That's
if you
understandable.
if you're depending on where you're talking about it at, you can like it was on IMDb, you can make it say like as this name or make it look as under that name also though.
yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
figured there were probably ways to do it.
yeah, you gotta
Mhm.
like just log on to it and just say this is blah 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 as this person and they'll link your accounts together.
Okay.
Because I had to do
Mhm.
that. I had to do that like 3 days ago for somebody else because they don't use a certain name anymore, and I had to correct it.
Oh, well, that was nice of you. I think I'll look into that. Thank you for that advice. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes them like 2 3 days to change it. Like at least on IMDb. I don't know how
Okay.
long it takes for other places to do. But you know what's crazy though, with what you said though, like when I first started doing stuff in porn, I gave them a name because I couldn't think of something. And I've been using the name Raw Star since I was 16. So when it came time to do stuff in porn, I didn't want to use the name Raw Star. I said Mr., the letter X, the letter T, and the letter C down. And like that's what it is under, like on this thing I was doing the extra work for. And everybody found out my nickname was Raw Star, and they refused to call me the name I wrote down.
Mhm.
Even though I think the name I wrote down was so creative, and I'm mad.
Oh.
Like I want someone to use it one day because it's a good name if you actually think about it.
I'm curious if someone has used that name yet.
No, not the letter X, the letter T, letters, not in that
Not with the
form.
initials or whatever.
Say like if you
That's what
think
I'll call it. But you know,
Miss Edge, say what I just said. Like say it out phonetically.
I don't know. Can you say it?
The letter X,
XTC, ecstasy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
X. I'm
So
like,
that's why they were like, no, we can't use
no. I
that.
just, I
I
just,
see.
Mm,
I just needed a name,
I
and
didn't even pick up on that. I'm so sorry.
it's
I was
okay.
like, I was sitting,
He's trying to be vague.
we were sitting in the room, and they were like, so yeah, everybody in here, we need you to sign this, like the whole paperwork ID process, and I'm like, yeah, you need to give us a name, and I'm like, oh my God, I called my friend up, I'm like, I need a name, and she said that, and I'm like, bet, and I wrote
Now
it down.
somebody's gonna hear this and they're gonna take that name. Watch, it's
I
gonna
want them
happen.
Yes.
to.
Okay.
I really want somebody. Hey, someone out there, if you join porn, X, the letter T, and letter C together. There you go, ecstasy. And then when someone asks about about how you have sex with them and what you deliver that ecstasy.
Listen to you.
I,
That's
I feel
clever.
like it can also be like a DJ or like a rapper's name, you know?
Uh, we don't
It's a
care
good
about.
stage name all across the board, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, see
exactly. Like,
that?
especially if they kind of do multiple things, you know, because there are some musicians that also film or do whatever, you know. So, like, you know, it can kind of carry well on both sides.
So
Yeah.
I have a question. I've been asking this question recently to our guests. What do you think is the funniest thing you think have happened you has happened on any set that you've been on?
Recently, I mean, there's several, there's several, but the most recent one is I was doing a scene where it was kind of like a cuckold thing, and it's my husband and of course my stepson. My husband's watching, and I guess in the scene it hasn't dropped yet. Am I allowed to talk about this yet? I don't know. It hasn't dropped yet, but
I
like
mean, I think you
my
can as long as you don't say names, etc.,
yeah,
etc.
I won't say names, but I'll give the premise. So the husband, it'll probably drop before you guys put this out, I bet. But the husband um and I were supposed to like we wanted to get pregnant, right? And he can't. He has been having a hard time with it. And so we decided that the stepson is going to step in because we need to have a family member.
Mhm.
Born. Anyway, so stepson and I are going at it, and the two of them are like arguing at each other, but it actually gets to the point to where I'm like, dude, the viewer is going to be really annoyed by this. By hearing the two of them arguing, because it's like I'm trying to still keep it sexy, but also feel into the humor of it. And but the two of them just kept going, and they both wanted to have the last word, like in real life. So I scream, I'm like, can everybody just shut up? And I scream it. And so now, and I was a little bit embarrassed about it, but I also was trying to play into the humor of it, but it didn't quite stop it. They still kept bickering. So we'll see when that comes out how they handled that. But I think that's the funniest part so far that I've been in. I guess you'll have to see it to really enjoy the humor of it. But
I totally get that though.
yeah,
I I how can I say this and put it nicely? I think that like when it comes to stuff like that, like you gotta remember like this is acting.
Hmm.
This is not really your wife. This is not really your stepmother. She is a performer. She's acting,
yeah.
and just because you get the last word doesn't mean like you get to go home with her.
Well, sometimes the funny banter in scenes can be good if it's done tactfully and tastefully. So, like one person says their part, the other person says their part, and then it stops. But if it's literally back and forth, it's like, come on, you guys, nobody cares. They just want to see the fucking here. So,
Right?
they just want to see everybody getting down. Um,
I'd have been
so,
like,
anyway,
shut up and let me fuck.
yeah, I said there were some crazy things said during that scene. I said some crazy things. And I mean, I can't even recall them. I'm gonna have to watch. I don't watch my own scenes, but I might have to at least watch part of it just to see
Why
what was
why
said
don't
because
you
it
why
was
don't why don't you
crazy.
watch your own scenes?
I can be kind of critical of myself, so it's better if I just don't watch
Understandable.
it. So yeah,
Me too.
I can understand that. But oh my
I do
God,
watch my own content before I release my own content that I'm creating. I will watch that though.
Yeah, I
I
tend to watch
think I think
it on
that's better
mute.
because like on one end it's your work and your masterpiece compared to someone else's vision and them capturing you, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yes.
So I
And I
can
need to know the product that I'm selling. I have to know what's going
Yeah,
Mhm.
on.
yeah, because you don't want to record something and then have a lifelong fan be like, "What is this?" And you want to,
Yeah,
yeah, like you don't want to like you don't want to disappoint your fans,
right.
and the fact that she cares, fans out there of her, she cares about the work that she does for you. So that means like anytime you go to her places where you can buy her content, you can just say, "Hey, I love your work and I love the time and effort you put in. Here's an extra
Yeah.
$400 just to thank you for such a great scene because I love you
Yeah.
so much." And then after that, you can request more scenes from her because she appreciates and she's eager to, do more for you because, you took the time to say, I love you and gave her $400 and money on top to do another scene, you know,
Yeah.
like that.
Whenever it comes to shooting these scenes, the content, I am such a perfectionist on my own content that there are actually scenes that I've shot. I paid the male talent, paid the videographer, paid for the location. I paid everybody. Everybody got their like dip in the pie. But then whenever it came down to it, I ended up scrapping it because it wasn't something that I felt like, do I really want to sell this? It's not quite up to par. So that's how much of a perfectionist I can be whenever it comes down to my own content.
I mean, that's the
That
best to be because like I'm not saying names, but there's certain people who I've seen like I often question like do they care about what they're putting out or are they just putting it out because it was recorded and they feel it's too late now and they don't care about what the fans will or would not think about it, or they might just say,
Mhm.
"Oh, they might have just had a bad day," But the fact that you care and you take the time out to say, "I
Mhm.
want this to be perfect," rather than, "Ah, okay, here you go,"
Yeah, there was one that was a custom video, 20-minute boy girl custom video, and this person paid a substantial amount to have it exactly what he wanted it to be. So I shot it at a nearby hotel. It was a gorgeous hotel, beautiful male talent. The director was there. I paid everybody, and then whenever it came out, I just was like, this. I know that this can be better. I know we can do better. And so then I changed the location to one in LA and used the videographer that I like to use out in LA.
Mhm.
Got the location that I like to use out there and use the same male talent. So we shot the exact same scene a second time. And I'm so thankful that I did it. The other one was scrapped because it has names and like, the customer wanted his name said and he wanted it to be POV and I scrapped that entire thing and re paid for it again. I don't think that I really made a profit off of that one, which is totally fine. I don't mind. He's been a long time fan who watches all my content. And so I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that he got exactly what he wanted and I want to be proud of the work. So yeah, I'm pretty detail oriented whenever it comes to my videos.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
well, that brings me to my next question then. What things do you what things do you want to do within the next 3 years? Like what is your vision and your goal to opportunities or collaborations that you want to do in the next 3 years?
Right. Well, right now I'm actually starting another venture that's out in Missouri. That's where I'm kind of at right now. That's where I'm all focused on. I've kind of pulled away a little bit from the industry. Maybe in June. June is kind of like my cutoff. I told my fans at one point, "Hey, I'm done with everything in June," but I've kind of backtracked on that a little bit to the point where I think I might just only be focusing on the pay sites that are going on, and that way I can do more of what I want to do. Sometimes I'm hired for scenes that I'm not really interested in doing. Um, oh, sorry, my Alexa is going off over there. Sorry. Where was I at? Sometimes I'm hired to do things that I'm not really into that premise, but I can act it because I'm an actress. I can do whatever. I, I want to focus on more of the kind of content that I like to create because I want the fans that like the same content as me to find me versus me catering to what everybody else wants. That's my goal.
Okay.
That's definitely understandable. And I feel like by doing that, you get to express more passion in your scenes because it's something that you're genuinely excited about.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Nice.
I look forward to what you produce. I'm trying to word this correctly. What you produce in the before June because it seems like you have something going on that you don't want to say just yet. And I feel it's going to
Mhm.
be big, and I feel that your fans are going to love it, and everybody's going to go
Oh, well,
crazy.
what I have going on is actually just kind of a personal venture. So
Oh,
I have
oh,
talked about it and everybody tries to guess what it is, but nobody's gotten it. I just have a business that I've started out there and there's a few other things that I'm doing.
oh yeah. We
But
don't.
it's not adult
We're
worthy.
gonna we're gonna we're, we're gonna we're gonna keep that secret because it might delve into your personal. So we're gonna
Mhm.
she's doing something big on her on for personal use and it's gonna be fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
Just 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 know that. So that
I
means that
think
means
everybody should have something for themselves that we all do that's just for ourselves. Like, quilting for the longest time, I didn't talk about it with anybody. I was kind of, it's just something that I love to do. And I didn't talk about it. And then
you're good
eventually I
at
started
it.
talking about it. Yeah. And it's like a personal, like love that it's just something I hold dear to myself. And so this adventure that I'm working on in Missouri, it's something that I hold dear to myself. And we don't want anybody coming in to try and knock that down. So it's just something small, but something that means a lot to me.
And
Yeah.
if you
Nice.
like on a side note, if you ever do start selling quilts again, I'll buy one.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, thank
No,
you.
because
Thank you.
I love I like I have a few crocheted
Blankets.
blankets in there that I either have received whatever, and I have one I think one like I'll give it to my mother one quilt that she keeps at her house that is really really good that I paid for. So
Oh,
I love supporting people um, and then like, yeah, I love supporting people. So if you ever start selling quilts again, I will buy one and say,
yeah.
I got an official Miss Edge quilt, and I take a
Oh,
pose with it.
yeah.
Ah, none of y'all
Oh,
is gonna
you'll
get it.
snuggle up next to it. It's got
Yeah,
all my love, blood, sweat, and tears in it.
yeah.
All my quilts.
Exactly.
No, like,
I feel like
what's
it'd
it?
be so meaningful to receive a quote from you that we know that you actually put your heart and soul into making it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though they take a long time to make and they are very expensive. The one on my bed cost me just in materials 90 or sorry, $900 and it took me
Jesus,
60 hours to create just to make it. So but
Jesus
it was a lot
Christ.
of pieces, that's why. But yeah.
Yeah, that's insanity. But that totally makes sense because like even if you don't end up using it as an actual blanket, I've seen people use them as tapestries, especially like in cabins and stuff like that. It'll help it'll help warm up the room a little bit,
Makes it
make it
cozy. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like just that one that's on your current couch right now, it brings out everything around you, even though
Mhm.
it's just something so simple, but it's
Yeah, this
so
was a very easy one to make. This one didn't take very long at all.
yeah, but
This is a very fast one to make.
it's so simple, but it's so beautiful that it brings out everything around you. Like your whole aesthetic right now is just so perfect. Like the quilt, the sculpture thing above your head. I'm enjoying the flottroir, like the scenery right now. This is
Oh, thank
perfect.
you.
It's
Thanks.
the little things I care about. I notice cinematography.
Thank
You
you.
know.
Well,
Yeah, I
there's
was
no,
thinking that
it's a very
too.
white house. It's very white, and I rent this house. It's hard to make it into a home, but thank you for that's a compliment. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, no, I was just admiring your vision for your room and for that room at least.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Mhm.
great, yeah, it's a great visual. But you said so where can everybody find you? So get your content, get your work, whatever, et cetera.
Typically I use X, or formerly known as Twitter. I use that social media site the most. It has a link to my link tree that has, all my pay sites on there and the other social medias that I have. And that handle for my X, formerly known as Twitter account, is at Pristine Edge XXX. So that's where you'll find me, and everything else is there.
You are the first person that has been on here that referred to it as X first and then proceeded to say Twitter. Since it's changed.
Well, we
And
know
I
how important name
Twitter.
changes are, right?
yeah, like I still say Twitter. Like
Yeah, I just call it Twitter still.
Yeah, it still
it's
comes out of my mouth too. I was just a little bit more mindful this time. More mindful, more demure.
I don't even know like time out, hold up before we go for it. I have no idea what that word means. What's
Demure?
that? Yeah.
Should I Google it?
maybe, maybe feminine. I almost
Word
want to
of
say
the day?
dainty and feminine and just classy, maybe. Let's see if that's right. I actually don't know the real
Okay,
definition.
so the official definition is reserved, modest, and shy, typically used for women. But
Okay.
that's a word
Okay.
that's more used to describe women than men.
I
Or
he
no.
I just hear the youngins say it, you know, the youngsters say it, and I'm like, I'm too old for these new words. I'm still
It started out as
I'm
like a TikTok thing.
Hmm.
I still say one when I hang up. Yes.
Okay.
You say one?
Remember like back in the days, like it's a few songs where they hang up and they say one, they hang up.
I actually have
Uh
no idea what you're talking about.
I
Rockstar,
will
you're aging yourself because
I will
neither of us.
find a music video and they're literally on the phone and he says one, they hang up. Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
looking it
It's
up
some of the
later.
viewers out there will know, but
it's a
I don't
thing. It's a thing. I'm old, but come on now, like it's like some things you can't go you can't like I still say it.
know.
No.
Hmm.
I can't help. I'm pushing daisies. I'm almost there. Where can I find you, Sarah?
So you guys can find me on imsarahlease.com. All of my links and my social medias will be on there.
Okay, you can find us at Third Brewing Events on Instagram, Brewing Events on Facebook and on Twitter, on X. I'm Raw Star on everything. Miss Edge, we really appreciate you. You are a joy, a pleasure. You're multi-talented. and everything that you do, in the venture that you're doing, like outside of the industry. I wish you so much luck on because I know just from having a conversation with you that you are very good at what you do, and I know it would be very, very successful. And even though you might, step away a little bit, I'll be cheering you on from a distance, like go, 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 and just saying
Aw.
I see you, whatever. Oh, and everybody out there on the internet, be kind. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Be kind. But yeah, so we will see you all next week. Be well, stay blessed, and stay amazing.
Thank you for having me.